everybody, my name is Liv and welcome to the Cowboy Cut. Today I am joined by Cleto, Cordero and Jason Alvarez of Flatland Cavalry. They are here all the way from their Red Dirt roots in Lubbock, Texas, touring Australia with Lainey Wilson. They are decorated with endless successes, including over 1 billion global streams, 6 number ones on Texas country radio, multiple syncs in hit films and television, as well as sharing the stage with some of country music's greats, including Zach Bryan, Luke Combs, and Willie Nelson.
Yes.
That's incredible. Welcome, Flatland Cavalry, to the Cowboy Cut. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, gosh, I'm just so excited to have you guys here. You guys have been friends forever. Is that correct?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Like
12 years
15 to 12. At this point, it's might just be brothers. I don't know.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. So you met in Lubbock, correct?
We met in Midland. That's
Midland?
where, Isbell
Okay.
Junior High.
Right.
And 8th grade, Miss Barbier's class. There was this goofy kid in the back making everybody laugh. And
And Cleto was the guy crooning all the girls in the corner.
Oh,
He was
shoot.
singing some Usher.
before puberty hit, I could hit some pretty high notes.
So what's your go-to Usher song?
Probably Let It Burn or Confessions.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Do you do the dance as well, like his moves?
There is a video that exists somewhere out there of me
Right.
at a 6th grade talent show
Right.
dancing like to a girl sitting in a chair that was my crush. And I'm like doing the Let It Burn dance, and I would practice in the shower and stuff. It's pretty cringy, but it's if you got it out there, please send it to me.
Yeah, someone please find that immediately. We really need that for the short form content that I'm going to create. Like,
Come on.
Please.
It's probably for the best that it's not seen the light of day, but
right.
yeah,
right.
it felt really cool in my memories, but I'm like, it's probably really cringy, but
Right.
also
Anything.
probably endearing. So,
Yeah. Anything from an outside perspective, you're looking at it, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not Usher, but it's what counts in here.
Oh, totally. I mean, getting started like singing in general, I would just listen to the radio and you try to emulate the things that you hear. And there were kids on the bus. I remember being like 3rd, 4th grade, and there were that Smash Mouth song, when it was in Shrek.
Oh,
like,
All-Star, yeah.
All-Star?
And I
Yeah.
would like put on that boy, hey now. And they're like, man, you're a good singer. And I'd be like, I'm a good singer. And I would just keep trying. But yeah, a lot of tales.
Absolutely a lot of tales. And similarly to your friendship, your experience as a band as Flatland Cavalry goes back way, over 10 years now?
Correct.
You did your first show in
Yeah.
2014?
First show, yes, as Flatland playing original songs. This was 2014. We were a cover band for a couple years before that.
Okay.
And kind of hit some wall after a while of playing other people's songs, and kind of there's a bar there in town that would only allow you to play your own original music. So that was kind of
Oh, wow.
it was kind of spurring us towards, or aspiring us towards that.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we learned a lot playing on Broadway, doing covers, and
Oh, yeah.
that was it was a blast.
Oh, absolutely. And even I believe the first live show I think I ever played was our high school. What was it? The parade or something?
Revelry Court.
yeah, it was
Homecoming.
homecoming. I think.
Wow.
And at that time, John Mayer Trio had just come out with that live album at Nokia Theater where they come in suits. They come
Yeah.
play in suits. So we were a trio, and we just dressed up in suits and essentially just played that.
Yeah, had 6 songs, had a little set list. Our name was Jack Trio, Jason, Alex, Cleto Trio.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
clever.
Yeah, we looked cool. I'm not sure. My mom recorded it on like an old school like digital
Mhm.
like a camcorder thing, and it's in the attic somewhere. She couldn't find it, but the last I saw it, I was watching it, reliving it, and then someone had taped over it where it's like my mom like, is it on? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. That was our first gig, man. We rehearsed for it and everything. Made a set list. Burned a CD at the time. There was no playlist. Like I made a CD that had the 6 songs we were gonna play and just listen to them continually. And we also had like one monitor on stage to hear ourselves. So but it was rock and roll, and it was exhilarating.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can imagine. Am I correct in saying your first show as Flatland Cavalry was at the Blue Light Live? Is that the
Blue Light Live.
Is that the name of it?
Yes.
Are you guys familiar with Trio Revival?
Yes.
Did you know the Boomtown thing where they like throw the beers in the air?
Yeah.
Apparently that started at that same venue. Did you know that?
I saw the first video of that happening.
Really?
Oh yeah. And if we had tried that, I think the owner Dustin Six would have
We don't whip our ass, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's become a thing at their shows now, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, you got to bring your poncho to a Treaty
Gotta
Up
bring
show.
your poncho. But that venue, it just keeps coming up as a place that is so integral to that part of Texas and like being in the music scene in that part of Texas. Do you guys ever go back to that venue to play still?
We do. We were just we played the Buddy Holly Hall last year, and if not the year before, and we made it a point to go play a pop-up show afterwards. There was already a band that was playing, Tyler Halverson. They were very gracious to let us use their gear and stuff, and we just dropped in and didn't have a set list and played, you call it's essentially, and people were yelling out songs, and it was truly exhilarating. And to rewind for a moment, before then, we had made a neon sign that they have a lot of neon signs in that bar, and one time the owner, Dustin Six, had texted me. He's puts on a charity golf tournament every year, and he'll always text me asking me for random gift ideas or something like that to be able for auction. And he said, "Hey man, do you know anyone that's got a Flatland Cavalry neon sign?" And I told him no, but I'll do some searching. And then I think he forgot about it, and we had one made, and it's our brand, the horseshoe, and their logo and their brand is the like the blue flame. And so it was like our brand was forged in the flames of the Blue Light Live. So if you ever get a chance to go to Lubbock, it's right behind the bar. And
that's so clever.
Gift it to them, and
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Did it do well in the auction?
Oh well, they didn't auction that off.
They're like, we're keeping it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there is. I mean, the first one that they made it wasn't quite correct. So there is two that exist. I don't know what became of that second one out there, but maybe they could auction off that one.
Maybe someone's got it somewhere hidden in a garage. You're gonna have to find it.
Along with that videotape of me dancing to Usher.
It's all in the same box. Would you say that red dirt is like what you identify your music the most with in terms of subgenre?
I would say, yeah, we definitely came up in that scene. We're a product of it and a byproduct of it. At the time, I mean, that just covers a lot of ground. I mean, red dirt for me at the time was like across the Red River. It was like Okies. And then there was Texas country, which was very, Texas is a big state. Like Jason says, like, got a lot of pride there, and people boast about things. And so a lot of songs were like Texas centric.
Yeah.
I think there's a designation between Texas country and like red dirt, but they were all singing about where they're from. And so now I think I call it Texas music now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like bands from Texas. And I'm not sure if anyone likes getting put in a box or told or whatever. We're proud to be from Texas. When people call us a Texas country band, I feel like it's a misnomer. I feel like we're a country band from Texas.
Yeah.
Because we have since traveled all over the world to Australia, and all these places. But we still tell our story. We sing songs about Texas. There's lyrics that reference home. How
have you guys both seen Texas music evolve over your long careers?
I feel like the scene, as Cleto was talking, like the scene in Texas, we call it the barbecue circuit just because half the time, in the early days, we'd take our van and they'd pay you on barbecue. And at some of these venues, no, that's a joke. But the way that it sounds, like when we started touring and coming up in that scene, like Wetzel had done, and he rated himself as Texas rock and roll, or and then there's Texas country like Randy Rogers and Josh Abbott, and William Clark Green, all these people that we were listening to, in high school and college. But as it's evolved, I think it's just like no one wants to be put in a box, like Cleto says. I think it's really just making music on your own and being proud of it, and happening to be from a certain prideful area and just claiming your area on your back and just going. But I think it's leaned a lot more towards like the rock side. Treaty Oak, Wetzel.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
Going back, at least as far as I know, like Willie Nelson went there after he got burned out on the Nashville stuff because he wanted to make his own record and make his own sound. So like Jason said, there's like you have a lot of room to roam as far as like to figure out what your sound is and who you are and how you want to sound, the independent spirit. And I think that still resonates in the music, whether to this day. As I mentioned, it kind of like it started with Willie Nelson, like Bob Wills and Robert Earl Keen and stuff in the 80s and the 90s. And then you have like this other generation, Pat Green, Wade Bowen, and the whole Texas country really like songs about Texas. And I think there was like a time when like the spotlight was shining on the genre of like right here, like God Bless Texas, all these songs.
Yeah.
And it's like, so to me, it's evolved. Like people still have that pride and that sense of, they still appreciate the ability to be able to be who they are and say what they want to sing about. And I just think the genre has frayed off into, there's many branches from that tree now that you got Treaty Oaks and Coetzals and Flatland Cavalries. And as long as you're, like Willie said, 3 chords in the truth, that's what you're abiding by. That's kind of, I think they'll accept you and listen to you, and no matter how it sounds. And they say variety is the spice of life. So like, I think it's a good thing. But I think a lot of people honor the roots from it. Like there's so many bands with fiddles and stuff too, and from that territory, that George Strait and Oasis in the Hole, Turnpike Troubadours, Isbell and the Stragglers, like our band, Randy Rogers band, Josh Abbott band. Like there's just some parts, where like it sounds like it not similar, but it's that's what they used to make music with, that in those parts.
Also, at the end of this, can we get like a counter that counts how many times we say Texas? Just put that in the corner, just a bing.
Exactly. Someone get out a notepad. We got start writing this.
I feel like Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. She loves Texas. I know he's talking about it.
100%, as you should. I mean, it's so much fun to be prideful of where you come from, especially as like Texas, where it's endless. There's so much music, so much art, so much great people and culture out there. And getting these recognitions, like having 6 number ones on Texas Country Radio, I'm sure that felt incredible.
Yeah, our first song, the first song off of our full-length album was called One I Want, and that's the first one they sent to radio, and it was like radio promoted. Before, we had just had like songs that I literally would go to the radio programmer and give him our CD, and he'd be gracious enough to play it. And then Texas, like Jason said, there's like a circuit where people are paying attention to other cities, and a lot of people look to Lubbock for like what's next. In big towns like Fort Worth, a lot of cowboy culture there. They have an incredible radio station, 95.9 The Ranch, and they started playing Flatland Cavalry, like Missing You and Summertime Love, and that really helped us out so much. But eventually we had like a proper radio promotion for Texas radio, and that song When I Want went to number 1. It was our first song that we had sent out, so that felt really it felt affirming and validating. And Larry Joe Taylor, who has a big music festival there, threw a number 1 party for us and stuff like that. And I remember going to his songwriter competition and just getting to even talk to him, was like, man, I'm having a beer with the legend, and then now we're buddies. We've written songs, and he's throwing a party for us. And so it's people in Texas love bands. They're always looking for the next thing, and they want to support it, spend their last dollar to go show up to watch you play, and literally still call in and request your song. So it's our success is really credited to all the people that support the scene.
Yeah, it's so important to be like, to go out there and seek and, support the artists all around you. It's really cool. Where were you guys the first time you heard yourselves on the radio?
Probably in my truck coming back from school. We were
from school?
Oh yeah, from class. We were at Texas Tech University in Lubbock, and the Red Dirt Ranger had the 5 at 5, brought to you by Bud Light. And I think it might have been Summertime Love that was on.
Yeah, that was our first song that. And I apologize to correct you, as Red Dirt Rebel. I just don't want.
What did I say? The Red Dirt Ranger?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's early.
No, but that's an Oklahoma band, Red Dirt Ranger. So.
That's right. The Red Dirt Rebel.
I don't want Dave Wall to be like, "What the heck, man?" But I was in the garage. I think I was building road cases. That might have been the time where after I went to school. Thank God to my mom and dad for paying for my education, and my brother told me wisely, if you're going to waste mom and dad's money, he's like, I know what's in your heart to the stream that you have. However, if you're going to waste mom and dad's money, get a good degree. So I got an accounting degree. And after I got my accounting degree, there was a season I was waiting for these guys to graduate from college. So I was like building road cases in my garage by hand.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that song come on the radio and just like lighting up like a Christmas tree. Feeling kind of dumb. Like, why do I have an accounting degree and I'm in my garage building these things? Like my like all I had, my overhead, I had to make $300 to survive a month. Like that was rent.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a couple extra $100 I could live and eat. And but it wasn't. I had really low costs and stuff. But hearing that song on the radio, goodness gracious, was like kept the dream going.
Yeah, I'm sure it like your confidence just went through the roof hearing your song on the radio for the first time, right?
And yes, ma'am. Yeah, it definitely led towards, which is so important, like what we're doing today. And thanks for having us to be able to tell our story and to have people listening on the other side, because we went from playing to like dozens of people to like hundreds. People were like, oh, that band Flatland Cavalry had they started out as the Bud Light Drive at 5, and it was the top 5 requested songs, and we went from 5 to eventually we were the #1 requested song, and then started showing up to our shows, and we started selling out Blue Light, and it really was the launching pad for everything else thereafter.
100%. And going from number 5 of the 5 at 5 to over 1 billion global streams. Hey, how does that feel?
That's pretty wild. I didn't know that. Yeah, a billion of anything feels like a lot, right?
Yeah. I cannot count that high.
Yeah, it's truly amazing to consider. Never thought I'd have 1 billion of anything. Is baffling, you know?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a totally inconceivable number, but it means that like you get the recognition that you so deserve, and you get to have these amazing opportunities, like coming to Australia to support Lainey Wilson, as well as what Luke Combs, Zach Bryan, Willie Nelson, and Parker McCollum are some other notable names I have here. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience touring with those people?
Yeah, I want to believe we haven't made any enemies out here on the road. Like we're just thankful to get to do it, and everyone that we come in contact with is become a friend in some way, you know, or we all have good stories to tell about them all. And it's awesome. As we mentioned earlier, there's the variety of artists too, and the different little sounds. Like I always think there's something to learn from each other. Go watch their show, listen to their songs, and getting to play with like legends like Willie Nelson. I mean, my goodness, that's a dream come true. We got to take a photo with him, and like I wrote him a letter and tried to, you know, arrange that I could meet him and just play him a song. And you know, you got to shoot your shot every once in a while, but it didn't come to fruition. But I think they took mercy on us, and they found us to be, you know, respectable dudes. So they arranged for us to meet him, and we were told that his wife was equivalent to like a baby rattler. If you get too close to him, she'll strike you. So they're like, don't touch him, don't sneeze on him, like keep your distance. But he came up to us and shook our hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a joy getting to play with all these different people. What has been in your eyes?
Totally eye-opening. You know, with Willie Nelson and Luke Combs is another one. He took us on a full-on stadium tour around the States. And it started out at, you know, AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys play, like hometown kind of deal. Yeah. And it just felt like a giant celebration for family, friends, like everybody's friends showed out for it. And it felt like, all right, we're doing something here. But the learning process of being able to go on a giant stadium tour like that, I feel like there was a ton of lessons learned that, you know, I take with me today and bring along even on this tour of just, you know, getting on stage and not being afraid and just going and just being yourself and just performing. So, and also his band and team is incredible, and they all have become great friends. So
yeah, am I correct in saying through Luke Combs, you guys found Make Wake? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Truth, yes. Yeah, in 2019, in December, we got an opportunity to open for him at the stadium or the arena there where the Spurs play in San Antonio. And, you know, rewind a little bit of time before that, we were on the road with our tour manager at the time. And we were just, if you stay too long out on the road and you're not taking care of yourself, you can get sloppy and just apathetic and, you know, simply just not be doing great. And after a show, he was honest with us and said, dudes, you're going to be opening for Luke Combs in 3 months. And if you did what you did tonight, you know, you're going to embarrass yourself. So get your crowd. He's like, are we on vacation? If that's the case, then I'll start drinking a beer side stage. He's like get it together. And so he really kicked us in the rear. And when that opportunity presented itself, we had 40 minutes to play. And we designed the set list. We gave it our best. We were on our best behavior. And still then, there's things that'll happen that I think really test your faith and test your ability to like you don't have a plan for it, you know. And there was a thing where it was like we were just burning through the set list, and our production manager, side stage from East Texas, he's like, guys, you got 8 more minutes. Like, we got to play another song. And we hadn't practiced, whatever song to play. So in the moment, I remember I'm looking at Jason. I'm like, let's do Tall City Blues. And Jason's like playing. He's like disregarding me. He's like, nope. And I'm like, dude, play Tall City Blues after this. And then he's like,
stick to the script.
Stick to the script. So we just ended up jamming. We turned this one song into like a big old jam. And yeah, it was like leap and the net will appear. And so I'm telling you this whole tale to say that ultimately, when it came to, we parted ways with our manager the next month. Cappy called us and Cappy said, I heard about this band Flatland Cavalry and heard you guys had an opening and, the band really loved you guys. You guys did a great job. You were respectful. And I'm just interested, to see what's your plan? Like, what are you doing next? And we started working with him. We officially shook hands over Zoom in May a few months later or whatever. And so that has since, turned into a lot of good things for us. Most of the guys relocated to Nashville and I've met so many songwriters and we got record deals and publishing deals and, songs in movies and just all these wonderful opportunities that came through, go back far enough, Dylan, our manager, saying, hey, get your shit together simply.
Yeah, it's good to have people in your life who aren't afraid to tell you stuff like that because sometimes everyone needs to hear that at some point.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's a blessing. You would have probably fumbled that situation, and I'm not sure if we'd be sitting across from you right now having this conversation. I don't know where we'd be, but probably building road cases in the garage somewhere.
Maybe. And maybe your songs will still come on the radio. Who knows? Is there anything in particular you learned on tour with these artists that stuck with you?
What's that one you were talking about, Wade Bowen, at the very beginning?
Oh, yeah. He told me a couple things. He's another songwriter from Texas and primarily Lubbock. Went to Texas Tech, did that. We followed in his footsteps as well. And we got to open up for him after our first EP came out in 2015. And he told me that in the beginning, you're going to need some help, kid. And whoever's willing to help, let them, And so we'll be playing this little gig or something and some kid comes up and asks you guys need help pushing these cases? So we let him help us, and eventually he became our tour manager for a stint. And you realize, and I've told this to Jason before, everything is already in your grasp if you can see it. And so people have been, added into the fold. That's always been kind of a natural thing, and kind of our eyes are open to what good can become. And another thing he taught me was I told him I would get nervous, and he said, "Just practice." He's like, "If you're rehearsed, what do you have to be afraid of?" And I'm like, "That's that's so simple." But sometimes you just, when you're so, white knuckling it, you can't even make common sense of what you're supposed to do. And those stories come to mind. Other advice, not so much from touring, but my dad really gave beautifully profound wisdom to me in the beginning. That he said that as you become a household name, let the fame go to your heart and not to your head.
Oh, wow. I really like that. Yeah.
It's really helped out a bunch, and still, you'd be shocked how many times you can forget that though, and you, once again, last night I was side stage about to sing with Lainey. She has me up to sing an acoustic song, and I'm tempted with these nervous thoughts of what are you going to say when she talks to you? And I'm like, hey bro, if I'm not sitting here listening to her song right now, everybody else in this room and receiving it and feeling it and I'm being present, then I'm missing the whole thing. That's the whole point. So be present and respond and listen, really.
I think that's the key term. Just being present is one thing that I've learned quite a bit. And also I think Willie said, not to me or any of us, but in his book, I think it's called Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die. Great book, just about his travels. But anybody on the road could tell you that relationships, it's hard because you're constantly away. And I'm such a big fan of really deep ideas that are just really short. And Willie says, just call when you say you're going to call. And I think that one was really always helped.
Yeah. Yeah. Being swept up in tour life, everything's happening all at once. You're doing a million different things. It's so important to maintain those relationships while you can. I'm curious about your songwriting process. What does that kind of look like for you guys?
For me, initially, like just from the very beginning, I told someone that I was going to write a song. I only identified as a guitar player for like, I got when I was 14 years old, and that changed my life. And so I just played guitar, learned all the songs I loved. And then when I was 17, I got hired by my peers in high school to play this after we did a good job at the homecoming show. They rehired me to play an event called Rebel League Court, where like they announced all the superlatives, Mr. Athletic, blah, blah, blah. And I got 2 songs. And so I did a John Mayer song, No Such Thing. I Want to Run Through the Halls of My High School. And I asked her if I could, for the second song, could I write a song? And she's like, yeah, of course. And you write? I'm like, no. But
I do now.
I do now. And then so, fast forward some time. I remember it was like a Friday and this event's on a Sunday, and she comes up to me. She's like, how's the song coming? And I was like, it's good. And I hadn't even started. And I used to clean pools with he's currently our day-to-day manager, Roy Johnson. And I said, man, I can't go, clean pools with you today. I got to go write this song, man. So I don't let him down. And I went home. No one was there. Sat on a little ottoman in the living room, got my guitar, had a little notebook, and I had a little lyric that I had started in English class when I would be daydreaming. It's like, when I'm old, when I'm gray, will you still love me like you do today? Now that we're young and having so much fun, don't give a damn for anything or anyone. And that's like the start of it. It was a song called Slow Down. And I was forced to finish it and learned about like now things that I think are still applicable, certainly to writing songs, is like you have to be able to like close the door and get away and shut out the world and be vulnerable and like really say what you want to say. And so that's how it began for me. And I played that song for my dad when he came home. He always would come in and close all the blinds in the whole house. And he made it around finally to the living room. I said, can I play you this thing? And played it for him and stopped him in his tracks. And he was like, you wrote that? I said, yes, sir. And he said, that's really good. You should keep doing that. And
wow.
he never said that to me about baseball or football or anything else I ever did. So I really took it to heart. And then I played it for these, my peers and such. And I had afterwards in the cafeteria, they had like, juice and sugar cookies and all this stuff. And we're, visiting, and people's grandmothers were coming up to me and with like tears in their eyes saying, you brought me back to being 17 years old with that song. And so
oh my goodness,
I just kept that going. But since then, it's like really just the process for me is like I mentioned, getting away, being honest. Eventually, you kind of trying to write when inspiration strikes you.
Yeah.
And then now it's like after you make a couple of albums of songs, like if you were to only write when inspiration strikes, you wouldn't put out enough songs to like make records. So I hit a wall eventually. It was like learn the craft. I had heard that a lot of people that read. So I started reading books and seeking and finding and Googling books to read for songwriters. And all that really helped. Now I have like 100% belief in any moment. If we were to sit here right now and we could write a song right now about whatever's on your mind. And so just giving you a little bit of backstory, like, kept that going on into college. And Jason and I moved there with the dream to start a band and play songs for, our peers continually, again, just now college versions. And I'd bring these songs to the guys. And, since then that's evolved. Jason's writing songs now, Reed's writing songs. And we got together before this new album that we just announced, Work of Heart. Yeah. We had some time together, and I was like, we had a couple of days and blocked it out and was like, let's get together if you guys got, a title or whatever it is. And our piano man, Adam Gallegos, had this like jazzy little song that I listened to it, and he didn't, he's self-proclaimed, he's not a lyricist, so he was open to like put that on the altar. And to me, I always go with like it's either you have poetry and there's a melody trapped in the poetry, or you have the melody and the music. And I try to just trust my gut, my subconscious, like, what does this make me feel like? What's the word? And his music to me sounded like heartstrings. And so we wrote a song called Heartstrings together. And I love it because when you're collaborating and you're like, to me, it's like a fast pass to get to know someone at the deepest level. And I'm so thankful for co-writing because it's turned into a lot of songs for a band. And before, there's a lot of, folks that came before and stuff, not even a knock to them, but I think there's a fear sometimes of co-writing because, one, you don't want someone to botch your idea.
Right. It's
And
scary.
Yeah. But that's just another way to like speak up though and say, hey, that's not the direction I'd like to go, and use your words constructively. But I have been in those rooms where we didn't make anything good, and you're kind of discouraged, and so you want to like protect your stuff. But when it came down to being prolific and writing during COVID, Cappy set me up with co-writes, and I remember I had this like feeling that was like if I were to like die, to be morbid, I'm sorry, I really just think like ever since we started this dream, I'm like, if it doesn't work out, like I'm gone all in, you know what I mean? And I think it really just pushes you to just go for it. And I had this conviction that was like, if my wife were to listen to my voice memo, if they found me dead in my chair and I had written a song, is it going to move them? Are they going to believe it? Are they going to feel it? And if not, was it my fault because I didn't give my best idea, my best words, whatever I could say? Or like, oh, I don't want this guy to mess up my idea. And so it turned that co-writing process was I got to know people very deeply, very quickly, know myself too. And now I'm not afraid to co-write. It's like, you can always burn the piece of paper afterwards and start over.
Exactly.
You can write a million songs with the same title.
Yes. Yeah, and that was a lengthy oration, but I'm just telling you, started at the very beginning, kind of.
Yeah. One thing that sticks out as far as the co-writing process, Cleto said that, who was it that you essentially said, well, I'm not willing to write a song with someone I can't give myself all of myself to, like Jay Knowles. Yeah. I think that when you had told me that he said that kind of hit,
Yeah, he said, I can't write with anyone that I can't give all of Jay to, because I'd asked him if he would write, like, country music's had a lot of different subgenres and stuff that folks might seem as not as authentic as other genres and stuff like that. And I asked him if he wrote with everybody, and he just said, whoever he can't be, he's been in rooms with like successful people that they were just looking for a hit. And like, you can't really just, let's make a hit right now. You have to like tell your truth and be real, and it will resonate with someone's soul. And then that's what makes it a hit.
Yeah,
but if you're not doing that, then you're kind of missing it.
100%. And Jason, I read an article about your studies as an occupational therapist, and you mentioned this term, therapeutic use of self. Can you tell me kind of how that manifests in your songwriting?
Yeah, that's what a great question. Yeah,
thanks, guys.
So I essentially went to school to be an occupational therapist, and which is a form of rehabilitation for those who may not know. It's those with any injuries or differences, just making sure that they're functional on their own. Either way, you go to school for 2 years, you get this master's program after your bachelor's, you learn a lot of, let's say, like different research stuff. You learn a lot of technical stuff. But the therapeutic use of self is the idea of using yourself, just your everything that you've learned throughout your life on the streets, outside of the classroom. And for me, during 2020, I was working home health with geriatrics. We couldn't tour because of COVID. So essentially, I learned that listening is the biggest idea of just using yourself to help others.
Yeah.
Because usually after someone has to say something, they usually feel a lot better. So in the songwriting process, I can't say that I've written too many songs just by myself. So it's been a lot of the co-writing process.
Yeah, sure.
So making sure that I'm reminding myself, hey, listen, and not cutting anyone off, or just taking the idea that's been given. And like Cleto says, everything we need is already right here. So just listening to others, and really even listening to yourself. And important it is to get away and literally just watch paint dry, watch grass grow, because it's all out there. So truly just listening to what is out there. As I sound so hippie right now, but
right.
Whatever's in the ether, it'll flow through you like a vessel. So that was a long one, but listening to yourself and others, I think, is a huge component to songwriting, to life. Yeah.
Incredible. No, I love that very much. What is inspiring both of you right now?
The food here in Australia
Yeah.
is fantastic. People care.
Yeah, Australia currently at the moment, something about being in a new place. There's nothing like the first time in anything in life. First time only happens once, and you're like, it's visceral, and you're there, and you're like taking it all in, every detail, every corner around every block that you turn. Never seen it before. So looking at people too, and seeing that's your brother or sister just from on a different continent. That's like they have their own life, they have their own like gifts and talents, and seeing just a whole new culture of people has been super wonderful, and they've all been very good to us, very welcoming, friendly, hospitable.
Yeah.
And Australia has inspired me. I'm also started reading again, like a spiritual book. I'm reading a book called Practicing the Way. It's talking about Jesus and kind of how he behaved and how he treated people and like being like that.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
being good to people, like being rooted in love and like being present. And to me, that's inspiring me. When I get away from, like you mentioned, being out on the road too long, you can kind of go apathetic. And I feel like an analogy it's come to me is like your lens gets dirty. And when your lens gets dirty, you can't see through. And you're like, I don't even know where I'm going. Like, whatever, I'll just slow down a little bit. And life starts to feel like you're trudging through it and like taking time to every day clean your lens off, see the world that there's things going on that are awful. Yes. I don't know how to fix all that apart from beautifying your local environment.
Absolutely.
And, treating people with dignity, kindness, love. Getting back into that has been inspiring.
I've been reading this book called Psycho-Cybernetics.
Right.
It's mostly a self-help book, which I'm trying to get away from for the most part, but essentially it's about your self-image.
Okay.
And just like, as I'm getting old, I have a daughter coming in May. I'm sorry, in July.
Ooh.
And either way, I start thinking about like being a father and like trying to, just as they grow on, how they see themselves, so important. This one book, Psycho-Cybernetics, it deals with your self-image, and he's backstory about him. He's a doctor who is like a plastic surgeon doctor, and found out that he was working on people's faces, making them more beautiful, or so they thought, and then realized that they would keep coming back, and he was like, well, what's the difference with it all? Is it a botched surgery, or is it how you think you look? Right. So more or less, it goes through how we see ourselves, and just a lot of ideas that I won't go into right now. But it's essentially it's from the 60s, which is wild, but it still rings true today. Of mostly just like loving yourself and seeing others for who they are beyond what they look like or anything like that, and just kind of like opening your eyes to a new kind of love, self-love, and love towards others.
I think it's so cool that you guys are taking inspiration from stuff like outside of other music. I learned that you're a painter. Is that correct?
I painted before. I wouldn't say,
the answer is yes.
Back in the day, like when I couldn't call myself a songwriter unless I woke up every morning and did it. So like I don't feel like I'm a painter, but I painted some things and I enjoy it as far as a different medium to like to lower your brain frequency down so that you can kind of like in the meditative state or whatever. And so, yeah, I'm fascinated by people that can like bring things to life though that are just unbelievable. Like to me, that is so incredible.
It really is.
Like there's form, whether it's like, I've seen Picasso paint a bull and just like it's the shape of a bull, but it looks like that's a bull, but it doesn't have to be like this detailed thing. Same thing as with poetry and lyrics. You have a form like a scaffold of like you only have so much real estate to tell a story.
Yeah.
And so I try what I've learned through the books I've read and stuff like that is like writing with your senses. And like when I'm trying to like figure out what once again, you only got 4 lines per stanza more times than not. And it's like, how visceral can I be in those 4 lines? And which I imagine when a painter is like, I only got a canvas this big, you know what I mean? So like, I do think there's like parallels between the two. I feel like I'm more knowledgeable of writing with my senses and like being able to use my words to like
Sure. Yeah.
to put an image in someone's mind versus then I am reliable to like tell a story with a painting.
For sure. I wanted to talk a little bit about your songs appearing in movies and in TV shows as well, like Yellowstone, Netflix's The Ranch, Twister's what is it, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah.
I recently just watched that one for the first time like a couple weeks ago. So fun.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
It reminded me to go watch it again. We got to go to the premiere when it happened, and I think just being in there, like, it was a bit overwhelming. So like I almost don't remember the movie, but
Wow.
yeah, I remember it being very powerful.
When you guys are writing for visual media, what's it kind of like when you're writing these songs and in your head you know it's going to become a part of the visual media?
The Hunger Games movie, for instance. So that situation, I've seen all those movies. I'm a fan of them.
Yeah.
I know the characters. Was given a briefing, which is like, that's like the cool stuff. It's like, I feel like I'm in a movie or something. It's like you're like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. And it's like, here's your mission. And it's like, and I was given a synopsis of the movie and 2 trailers. And I watched them. And then I just like, all right, subconscious, like, what do you want me to say? And I just start free writing of like, the image wool came to mind.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's my clue. And I'm looking in that direction and I'm chasing that rabbit down that hole and just free writing anything that associates with that word to me. And then the characters too, because I've seen all those movies. Like, I know snow, like that movie was about snow.
Yeah.
And so like a line like that's in that song is my favorite line in there. And I don't feel like you can take credit for writing the song because I feel like I'm transcribing what I'm hearing, like what the ether is feeding to me. God, love, whatever it is. And it's like, were you just like me once upon a time when you were set free from the hauntings in your mind, wanting to be faithful, longing to be kind? Now you howl at the moon when the wolf starts calling, almost innocent, like fresh snow falling, like stuff like that. But it's like, I'm like, dude, if that is about that song, and it means more than one thing, and it's like, it pertains to that character and also the metaphor, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I nerd out about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think it helps to just, like, don't be afraid to, like, just write. And like I said, you only got so much real estate, so you know it's got to fit in this form. And it was a total joy and a blast to be given a prompt like that. And they didn't say, I've had since for like the Twisters movie, for example, they gave you a little more detail. They're like, we're looking for an upbeat song for this scene when they're chasing the tornado. And it's like, okay, well, my brain's thinking of tempo. It's thinking of major chords. It's for me, it was like this haunting sound. The song that we wrote was called Touchdown. And it had this little piece of music that sounded like a storm was coming. And it was whatever it was, something bad was coming.
Yeah.
And so I trusted my gut raised its hand. Oh, you have an idea already. And trust that.
Yeah.
And then just write with your senses. And
Beautiful. I would love to talk a little bit about your recently announced album, Work of Heart. What can you guys tell me about that?
Work of Heart is 12 songs of life, love, and loss, just like our first EP that we ever released. And it's still easy on the ears, heavy on the heart. It's storytelling of all the places we've been, the people we've met, the experiences we've had, the emotions, reflecting on, the past a little bit, songs about being present, and then things about looking forward to what's to come. And each one's a little different. And so you got there'll be some Texas country red dirt fans that will probably like more songs than others because it's reminiscent of that sound.
Yeah.
But it is a return to like our first album that we ever made, or the second one, Humble Folks. We had a really beautifully brilliant player named Kyle Aaron. He lives in Japan. He's a student to our producer.
Cool.
Also from Lubbock, was a student there, and he plays fiddle on it and just really brings the songs to life. And it's truly one of my favorite records we've ever made. My favorite record is always the last one we made because it's new, close to your heart.
100%.
But yeah, we got together in the studio, and Austin went back to work with Dwight Baker and got to camp out there. You want to tell about that a little?
Yeah. We spent the full month of May, got off the road, and we had met Dwight Baker years ago. We did Wandering Star with him as well. And it felt so right where the cohesion of the band, everyone staying there, because at this particular studio, about 50 yards away is the house. So you just wake up, you have a great routine, you get in there, and to me, making a record feels like baking a cake, or like, I always put every analogy to food for some reason.
Wishful thinking, right?
Yeah. But either way, it's great, the routine, we get drums and bass in there, you've got your flour, then, you get the melody on there, there's your sugar. And then, the icing with the fiddle, and then you've got everything that just one after another layered up. And then, just it's really great to see it all come to life.
Yeah.
Especially hearing Cleto bring them on his guitar. Everyone's got a million ideas. And then, Dwight is essentially the cat wrangler, like, nope, don't like that one. I like that. I like this. And everyone's got their ego at the door. But it's such a fun creative process, because I can't really think of any other time you would get 7, 8 dudes in a room and just create something together.
Yeah.
Those things don't happen often in my life, at least. So just the idea of making an album, being a part of that, and then having that released to the world is it's fulfilling. It's really badass. So
I'm incredibly excited to hear the project. I love the cover art, by the way. So cool.
Thank you so much. That went through very many bouts of multitudes of opinions, unpopular ones, and so I really had to like trust my gut. Like Scott Ferris, who did the artwork, has done all of our artwork in the past, and picked up the phone and asked him if he would oblige another one, and he's like, of course. And so I told him initially the idea was to make like a heart with like dip all of our hands in some kind of different colored paints, and like stack it on top and make it the shape of a heart.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And that was the origin, and then it's since transfigured into like fabrics. He designed a fabric for every single song, and the heart is like your heart, and it's made of songs, and each
beautiful.
It's wrapped in these fabrics of these different patterns that he made. And so him and his daughter Rachel really like just went all in, and he made this big old heart and wrapped in these fabrics. And we're blessed to get to work with the label now in a big team, and so therefore everyone chimes in with their opinions. And to be totally transparent with you, at times that is overwhelming to me. And I want to be an open ear, like Jason said. I want to listen. I also have to trust my gut at the end of the day to like, before you didn't have a team, you didn't have anybody, you were just like working with Scott and like trusting it and sending it out the door. And like for me to, I don't always have an answer for everything. So when someone asks me a question that I don't have an answer for, it's kind of like they might say something, and it might not even be like a question. It might just be like not even constructive criticism. It's just like, I don't get that. What does that have to do with this or whatever? And I told him, well, he's like, well, I don't understand how this has to do with the songs or like this. And I was like, well, consider our first album, Humble Folks. The album art was based upon a Mexican bingo game called Loteria. And one of the cards, it's like a game that you play rather than you use beans for counters. And it's like, you draw a card and it's an image. And if you have that image on your mat, you put it on there. It was built upon the musician, El Musico. I said, none of the songs have nothing to do with Loteria, but we're building a world and a universe and like the place where these songs live. And so in the same parallel, like this album is the same thing. And I was like, I almost wanted to scrap it. I mean, that would have been devastating to Scott and Rachel because they worked so hard on it. And I just trusted my gut. Like, you know what? I'm going to walk through this fire. And if everyone hates it, I don't give a shit because I love it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they would ask me, they're like testing me, do you love it? I'm like, man, I mean, do you love pizza? Like, I like pizza. I mean, like, for me to say I love something, it's like, I said, I really like it. I like it. And maybe it might take time for me to fall in love with this thing, but I didn't make it like him, So, anyways, it finds me well that you find it beautiful and that you like it because they worked really hard on it, and it's a really cool idea. And as we continue to have these conversations with the world and stuff and tell people about it, like you always hope that they'll wake up to like, oh, that's cool. Every fabric's representing a song, and it has intention behind every detail.
Absolutely. I didn't know that, and now I'm gonna go look at the artwork again and be like, it's a whole nother layer of just magic.
I think it really shines in the vinyl. Of course, I've only seen it online, but all those little small Easter eggs.
Cool.
It's full of intention, and knocked it out of the park. But I did. So
Scott and Rachel really deserve
mostly
all the credit. I just it's fun to be a part of something that you're like, I don't know how it's going to end, but Scott said it really well. He said, if I do it myself, I know how it's going to turn out. But if I say, here you go, what are you going to make of this? It could still be great, beyond great, but it's just going to be different, and different's okay.
Different
I just
is
love
totally
that
okay.
word. It's like, it's different. And so, yeah, that's to me is the intangible factor about all this stuff that I really enjoy, is that if you did it all yourself, then you know how it's going to turn out, and you'll be responsible for its success or demise and whatever have you. But if you let someone else in on it and they do it a little differently, it'll turn out how you never could have imagined. And to me, that's more exciting than predictable.
Absolutely. One thing that I like to do with all of our guests before we wrap up is ask you what your favorite song is at the moment. Do you guys have an answer for me?
Ironically, I don't listen to as much music as I probably could. I read a book that said, like, don't listen to music when you're creating, because then you'll, like, steal from your contemporaries, and I didn't want to do that. So I listen to, like, words without lyrics now. But to answer your question and risk of being vain, my favorite song is always the last song I wrote, because it's near and dear to me. So that one was called Funeral on a Friday.
And how about you?
I'm thinking if it's something a little more contemporary, Chris Stapleton, I saw him perform at the CMAs on TV. A song that was in the F1 movie, which I just watched on the plane ride over here, which is ultimately badass. But the song's called Bad As I Used to Be. And it makes me feel good.
Hits.
Simply, it hits. It makes me feel like I can do anything. And those are the best songs. So
Yeah, dude.
100%.
While you're saying that, it came to me, and I thought of one. New South Wales by Jason Isbell. I was singing that yesterday, and I've heard it before, and I'm like, that's a cool song. And then, like, having been here, I'm like, hit the nail on the head that it's a brilliant song, dude.
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So incredible. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing what you had to say today. I really appreciate the amazing stuff that you guys had to say.
Thank you, Liv. Thanks for having us and for asking good, thoughtful questions, and for your time.
100%. And you guys did incredible last night, and I will see you guys tonight as well
Okay,
at
cool.
Jolene's.
Thank
So
Sweet.
excellent. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Liv.